So we are actually kind of late on talking about this bizarre new travel trend, but this says men are, quote, raw dogging it on flights. Here's what this weird trend means. I will summarize it for you. Raw dogging a flight means that you get on this flight, regardless of how long it is, and you don't allow yourself to have any books, your phone, no movies, and no water. No entertainment whatsoever, no distractions. You just sit in silence alone with your thoughts, and the only thing that you can look at is the flight map on the screen in front of you.
Look, every time I raw dog on a plane, I end up in TSA custody, so I don't know.
I think you got the wrong idea about raw dogging flights.
Look, I will say this. This would never be me. I will pay the $10 for especially for like a long flight. Yes.
You said you paid like $30 for the the Wi-Fi ones, right?
No, 10.
Okay,
it's 10. Okay. Like if it's a 6-hour flight, yes, I'm not gonna. Yeah. Otherwise, I listen to podcasts while on planes.
Or like sleep. Like you can't even sleep. You have to be wide awake, staring. Well, what about the planes that don't even have the flight map? So you can't even watch your time go down. This is giving like serial killer energy.
You think?
Like there is no way that a grown man could just. Also, like girls can replay conversations in our head and like have more. I feel like guys don't do that. Like a guy just sitting on a plane staring, no phone out. Like no, that's weird.
It's a red flag.
That's a red flag. That's like.
Let's listen
really
to the experts. According to experts, men are more likely to enjoy raw dogging flights than women. Psychologist Danielle Haig suggests that men may find it appealing because it allows them to tap into their mental strength and endurance. Some individuals claim that raw dogging flights helps them feel stronger and more focused. It's like stoicism.
It's very much like like stoicism in practice, or somebody who, for men, I guess it's like a mental workout.
Can you close your eyes? Like if you're on a flight, can you at least like close your eyes, or do you have to keep them open? Because I could see if you had to close your eyes, it's like a mindfulness, like pray or something.
There might be safety risks. This says it's essential to note that raw dogging flights are not a recommended or safe way to fly. Long-haul flights can be mentally and physically demanding, and flying without distractions can lead to fatigue, anxiety, and mental health issues. It's crucial to prioritize your well-being and take necessary measures to stay comfortable and entertained during flights. That sounds like the medical-industrial complex.
Think about this in this context. This is exactly why solitary confinement in prison is so dangerous, right?
It's true.
It drives you nuts.
Because it's so psychologically.
But this is worse.
This is worse. Like
because you're surrounded by people.
I guess solitary confinement also like eliminates passage of time.
Well, also in solitary, don't you get books at least? Like you're in this. Like
do you
9 by 9 block? You get nothing.
Not if you're.
We'll have to ask
if you're in solitary confinement because you did something wrong. No,
you get absolutely nothing. It's just a concrete.
So men are filming themselves on TikTok raw dogging flights, and we can take a look at a few of these examples.
Maybe this is what happened to Tiffany Gomez. Maybe she was raw dogging flights and then started seeing shit.
Maybe I'll raw dog my flight in the morning.
There you go.
I'm gonna try it out.
Which video are we gonna watch?
It's the one from Hard Factor News.
Okay, the first one here. All right, here, let's watch this video.
Raw dogging is a new trend where when you're on a flight and you just sit there and you don't do a goddamn thing except for stare at the maps, the little thing that tells you how far along you are on the flight in front of you. You don't listen to music, you don't drink water, you don't eat the snacks, you don't get on your computer, you just sit there and raw dog it the whole way.
Whoa.
So this guy says, just raw dogged a 7-hour flight, new personal best.
Men turned it into a competition for themselves. I can see this now. I see it.
Phones, no water, nothing. Sitting there looking at the flight map.
How angry he is. This is the worst.
And then
who's going to be the one, like, I turn the air off above me?
This guy is an Australian musician. 15 hours, just staring staring ahead.
15 hours.
Are you allowed to go pee, Wes?
Okay, so here's the thing: is in raw dogging you can go pee, but there's an even more extreme form of raw dogging, which is called barebacking. You wear your seatbelt the entire time. You don't go pee. No music. Nothing. You can't even look at the map. You just look at a blank screen.
Dude, if you're gonna go raw dog, you might as well go bareback.
Oh, it's gonna get crazy if it catches on. People are gonna just be a fucking flight of zombies just staring at it. Don't bother me. I'm raw dogging.
Yeah, raw dog in progress. What if you got a whole flight worth and you just got got everyone to raw dog it the entire
Dude, it'd be
flight.
so freaky.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. It's not a flight full of zombies if they're raw dogging the flight. A flight full of zombies is a bunch of people looking at a screen.
I imagine of all of these men, half of them are spending it imagining what they would do if there was a terrorist on board too.
I feel like this is like an alpha, like
Yeah,
Giga Chad
it
thing,
is.
competing with themselves. Like, I'm gonna raw dog this flight.
It
and
is.
Let's see how long I can do it.
It's like when your dad takes you on a road trip and says no bathroom breaks. We're not stopping for this long.
Yeah, but like 7 to 15 hours.
You're like
15 hours
Like
is
that's like an international
crazy.
flight. That's crazy.
it's.
And also, by the way, if you're filming yourself on your phone raw dogging the flight, you're not raw dogging the flight because you're using
Maybe
your
it's when they
phone.
landed.
Maybe. But
It's just like it's
How long do you
imagine-
think you would last?
me,
If you just sat on the plane, could you wait? Can you talk to anybody? You can't
No.
talk. It's just you
No
and
talking.
there. and
That's even
yourself.
better. Like people are talking to you and you have an excuse to be like,
you just don't answer.
you hold up a little card that says sorry, raw dogging
dogging.
flight.
Like the issue for me was that I would probably start nodding off.
I think I would fall asleep.
But let's say 8 hours.
8 hours? I don't think I could do it.
If my life depended on it, I
Okay, if my
definitely
life
wouldn't.
depended on it.
I wouldn't decide to do this by choice, but I kind of understand why men are doing this because there's so little adversity today in our society. Everything is so comfortable. Everything is so easy. They want to impose a challenge on
I was
themselves.
gonna say, it's like a trend challenge.
Plenty of men work to test their physical strength all the time. Tests of your men. Like, you know who would be great at this? David Goggins. David Goggins would just sit there the whole flight and just raw dog it, just like when he runs 30 miles a day and shit like that. It's totally and again, like I feel like this is an evolution of like people from my dad's generation who's like, I never took any sick days. I went to work every day. I've like, and then at the end of the year, all the men would compare who had used the least of their sick time at work. It's a sign of masculinity.
raw dogging life.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just men who do this, actually. I did find a TikTok of someone's mom raw dogging a flight. They said, my mom's beige flag is that she raw dogs every flight, no matter how long. This is her on a 9-hour flight. No iPad, no headphones, no book. At least she's comfy. Go, girl. Like,
She's just-
total silence. Just looking at the map.
In her zone.
Not a thought in the world. I thought, like maybe the reason men can excel at this is because they say they have the ability to think about nothing.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is like girls will always think about
Yeah.
everything at all times, every part of the day. But guys, I feel like could just tune it out. It's just such a boy brain thing. And
I still don't know if I believe it. Like, is that true?
I mean, it depends.
Like,
Can men
you just,
really think
turn off
about
your
nothing?
thoughts?
I can sleep on planes and think about nothing until I fall asleep, but then I wake up and I'm back to normal. But in general, no, I'm an overthinker
You're
for the most part. So
I don't know. I hear that guys can just like kind of tune it out, and sometimes just
Men say that they are
there.
capable of just turning their brains off.
I could never.
But, like, I don't know if I believe it's possible.
I do think that like the mom that was doing it, it would be easier for someone in an older generation because it's not like they've had a phone or a laptop or
True.
something their whole life.
Yeah.
Like doing it without a book, I could understand. But like if I was a 60-year-old woman, I will say the other day I was flying, it was a 4.5-hour flight, and the man next to me raw dogged his whole flight. He was like a 60-year-old man. He had a little phone that still had an iPhone with a button on it still. And
I
he
miss
just
buttons on
and he just
phones.
sat there. And then he like would start talking to me for a little bit, but I was watching a movie. So for like most of the flight, he was just entertained and looking at nothing. So I do think it could be a generational thing. I mean, I know it's all like the younger
Yeah.
guys now, but I think older people would have an easier time doing this.
I imagine that if you like wean yourself off the phone and wean yourself off technology, it would get easier.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is like silent walking.
Yeah.
Like, this generation needs to wean themselves off of distractions
Yeah.
in controlled doses. Like, silent walking is literally just going on a walk. I know everyone
no
made fun of
technology.
these girls for saying, like, I'm going on a silent girl walk. But they were trying to do something that is actually good for their mental health. That
Well, think
should be
about from
celebrated.
sun up to sundown, how much of our lives are consumed by technology? Like 99% because you go on a walk, same podcast, you're listening to music, you're checking.
Even that, like, so, like, I've since doing this job, I've like eliminated podcasts from my. I listen to music, and even then, I don't even listen to it at like a loud volume. It's just kind of playing in the background. So in that point, what is my brain thinking about? I have no clue.
Well, whatever it is, you're not going to remember what you were thinking about.
I won't. Like, so, like, on a plane, I could listen to music at low volume where I don't even know that it's there and think about nothing.
But does that make you an NPC because you don't have an internal
No, I mean,
monologue?
that's not the same thing. I could think about the idea that I'm not thinking about something and have that discussion with myself in my head. That wouldn't fit that criteria.
Maybe this is the new therapy. Gen Z needs to raw dog flights to get rid of the brain rot.
Yep.
We're just raw dogging life in general.
But we don't suggest that. What you should do is listen to our podcast when you're traveling.
True.
Not raw dog
Actually,
the flight.
we disavow this trend.
We do.
Because you should be listening to PCC when you're traveling.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.